So I just finished the first 2 episodes of Disney Plus's new series, Daredevil Born Again. Obviously a sequel to Season 3 of Daredevil from Netflix, which is probably one of the best series from Marvel and probably from television. So how does this new look aid the franchise now that Disney owns it? Now, I'm going to go through episode 1 and 2 and just put timestamps for you to watch either one or the other. So, let's just go through episode 1.
There is no tomorrow! There is no tomorrow! There is no tomorrow!
So the beginning opens up on Hell's Kitchen with our favorite trio of lawyers getting off from work, bringing us back into the world of Daredevil. They seem to be having fun, joking around. The trio decides to go to Josie's bar. Matt and Karen have a drink together while Foggy gets a call from one of his clients. Foggy's client is in stress, and that's because Bullseye is threatening the client. Matt overhears this. Karen and Matt go to check on Foggy. Foggy says Benny, his client, is in danger. That's when Matt suits up, jumps from building to building with some questionable CGI, and then... What? Foggy Nelson, a character who we built an attachment for 3 whole seasons, gets shot in the chest? That's when Bullseye makes a reference to Season 3, and then he goes to kill Karen. Thankfully, Matt shows up, and the fight between the two brings me back to the older seasons, and how good they were. Eventually, after Bullseye has almost no energy left to fight, Matt catches up to Dex, and that's when Matt hears Foggy's heart stop. And Matt just throws Bullseye off, apparently trying to kill him. Matt drops his helmet and gets caught by retiring cop Cherry. And Bullseye opens his eyes because, the testing from last season, I guess? That's when we are given a new intro for this season. After the intro, it's been 1 year since the incident. Matt is still a lawyer, but he has dropped his Daredevil persona. He is no longer a vigilante. He is now working with Kristen, who was the woman Foggy was talking to before he died. Shifting focus to Wilson Fisk. Fisk shows up to his estranged wife, Vanessa. Hopefully Kingpin can stop getting demasculated. Anyway, Vanessa has been running Kingpin's empire since he's been away crying to some indigenous deaf amputee. Moving on from that, Fisk tells Vanessa that he is going to be running for mayor. That's when we get a new character, BB Urich, who is the niece to Ben Urich. Remember him? Anyways, she doesn't do anything, so moving on. That's when we get a courtroom scene. Finally. It's actually kind of cool. Matt's on the stand talking about Bullseye's horrendous crimes. Matt hears a heartbeat. Sure enough, it's Karen. Karen and Matt talk after the trial. Oh, and if you're wondering, yes, Bullseye goes to prison for 11 consecutive life sentences. Karen tells Matt she's glad to see him. She's living in LA, and she doesn't want to put with him anymore. Fisk is campaigning pretty good. Matt is secretly brought on a date with a character named Heather. You don't even want to know what happens to her in the comics. Anyway, they hit it off. Sometime after Fisk's debate, Matt shows up face to face with Wilson. They go to the diner. Pretty much the same things you saw from the trailer happens in the show. Not to say it's a bad scene, because it's probably one of the best in the show. It ends with Fisk making a warning to Matt and his darker half. Oh, also, they mention Echo.
Step back, I think I'm gonna vomit!
The end of the episode ends with Fisk winning and Matt staring at him from down below. That's some symbolism. Before the second episode begins, we get in loving memory of Kamar Rees, I think that's how you say it, who plays the White Tiger, and who is a real highlight in this episode. So, rest in peace, man. Anyways, episode 2 is much more of a character episode, with some occasional action at the beginning and end of the episode. The episode picks up with Matt being a wine mom, drinking all depressed like. That's when we meet up with a new character, Hector, who's also the White Tiger. Hector sees a guy getting jumped by some dudes in the subway station, and since he's a vigilante, he does save the poor dude from getting jumped. But he accidentally kills one of the attackers. And then the other guy pulls out a gun and reveals they are cops. Now here I would shift my focus to Kingpin, but not much happens with him. It's just him getting settled in the office. So back to Hector. Matt is at the same police station when he hears the cops being corrupt. Again, Matt goes to Hector to talk about what happened at the station. Matt knows he's telling the truth, but he's also not telling him something. Matt takes him as a client. Now Fisk does something. He fixes a road and is trying to win over the public. Meanwhile, Matt fails to do anything to save Hector from the court hearing. So Cherry and Kirsten visit his house where they find his suit. While Matt's new love interest is having a book signing event, I usually wouldn't mention this, but I think this little weirdo right here is probably Muse, the villain for the show. So, yeah, moving on, Matt is pissed that Hector didn't tell him that he was the White Tiger. So Matt then decides to try in court again by getting new evidence in the form of the guy getting jumped. Also, Vanessa and Wilson are getting marriage counseling. So, yeah, again. Anyways, the episode ends with probably my favorite scene so far in the show, with these cops doing some questionable things.
What brutality!
Well, anyways, Matt goes sicko mode on these guys, and I guess he realizes he has to be Daredevil again or something. I'll just say it, I really liked the first two episodes. Episode 1 was a lot better than 2, a lot more happened in episode 1, and also the Kingpin stuff in episode 2 isn't that interesting. And since we're talking about Kingpin, I think I'll just go through my negatives for the first 2 episodes. So, bring it back to the beginning of episode 1, I found myself being brought back into the world, seeing Foggy, Karen, and Matt living the good life, out for drinks. It was really good. However, I felt Foggy's death just happened so fast. Now, the fight between Bullseye and Daredevil was pretty cool. And I wasn't right all the way when I said he killed Bullseye. He didn't. I was wrong. But after that, Matt throws him off the edge, and Foggy dies from a hole in the chest. We get a 1 year later. And I just felt that was too much time had passed. Foggy is an OG. Him and Matt go all the way back to college. So to have him die in the first 15 minutes was already a strange choice. But to then have it set 1 year later? I don't know. I felt like we should have had a few weeks or maybe a few months, not a whole entire year. Also, I don't know how I feel about Wilson and Vanessa. I mean, for 3 whole seasons, all Kingpin wanted was to be with her. But yet, his retarded self leaves the love of his life for some indigenous deaf amputee, who shoots him in the face and makes him cry.
Not a great plan.
Anyways, it didn't take me out of the world, so moving on. Now, I actually did like the violence. It's really good, so is the action, but some of the characters should not be here. Or they just take way too much time away from the characters we actually do want to see, like BB, Kirsten, and Cherry. Which, I actually like Cherry, but he's not that special of a character. However, I really liked Hector. I can't wait to see what they do with this character later, as the White Tiger and all. And Heather wasn't bad either. So, would I recommend episode 1 and episode 2? Yes and no. Do you have to go out of your way to buy Disney Plus again, like I did? No. But is the show doing relatively fine? May I even say good? We'll see. But I did like the first 2 episodes, but that does seem to be all of our time for this video. I can't wait for episode 3, but how about you tell me your thoughts? I would love to hear them, but till next time, peace.